Well, I think
Dave.
that leads to another good point as well, though,
Can I
lady.
just say something for 2 seconds? I'm going to be really quick.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead, Anarchy.
I don't really know what you guys are talking about right now, this topic, but someone said one AP, I think, was on a plane with Patrick Byrne, and then someone else said AP is an anarchy princess. And I just wanted to clear up I was not on a plane with Patrick Byrne before that
Okay,
becomes a conspiracy. And that's
thank
all
you.
I've got to
That
say.
was me asking. I was just
Where were you
asking who
with
they meant by AP.
AP?
Okay.
Where were you on January 6th of 2021 now?
Home in Virginia.
Wait.
Was not
Okay.
following politics. I didn't know shit about it.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought. It was a little
Yeah,
later after
you
when the
missed
truckers
nothing.
that you got more
When
involved.
the convoy came through DC in 2022, that's what they were just pissing me
That's what I
off with
thought.
traffic. And some of them were J6ers, and I didn't know anything about J6 until that group broke up. And because they're grifters, they needed another movement to latch onto, and they found Mickey. And that's when I started learning about J6, which was, I think, August of 2022.
You
But
were
But
you were
I
but
have
at.
to,
here's the point I came up to make real quick,
well, I
though,
have
right?
to go. I just
So,
wanted everyone to
Well,
know that wasn't on a
I
plane.
just wanted people to know Anarchy Princess was
Roger that,
at
bud.
her Amish homestead, and she wasn't allowed to use any electronics.
Yes,
So,
yes,
be
that's
treated for
exactly it.
people.
All right. Everyone have a great day. Touch some grass. Bye.
uh,
So I would just like to point out one thing that they did get Patrick that Patrick and Tish did get Enrique to talk about on his little space. One thing that he mentioned was there were a couple hundred or 100 or so Proud Boys that wanted to come and be part of the group kind of that he was leading, but he didn't feel like he could have control over that many people, so he chose 33. 33 people. He handpicked the ones that he would come. There has been a ton of reporting on the excessive number of feds and confidential human sources in the Proud Boys, and Enrique admits to handpicking every one of them that
I,
came. A point that
A
I
lot of
think
those people were his buddies,
is
though.
not
They
should not be
betrayed him.
ignored.
yeah. I
I just think he's gullible.
so how do you guys like? When I was in a space last night, I was asking the group like, who do you guys consider to be like who determines the direction of the J6 community and which way it goes? Who's the leader of the whole J6 movement? Is there a leader? Are there little groups? Are there is like do you think it's everybody agrees on every single thing and should every time, every topic?
I think
No,
if
I
you've been
think
here
it.
for
I
three
think it's.
seconds, you know it's hurting cats.
Yeah, it's Reichland, it's Vanderstilt, it's the Democrat Party, it's the Republican Party, but really at the more base level, it's Ivan Ranklin and what he claims is his little CI crew. If you notice, Andrew, who came into our spaces and started causing all kind of drama as soon as we started getting people like Gina and Chadwick to accidentally blow the lid, think they were going to come in and they're just idiots, thought they had their whole story planned out, their cover lines, and all they did was confirm everything that we'd been saying. Who pops in directly after we start having those spaces and starts like trying to start drama with every one of us? Allie
Oh,
Rose. She who
Al.
must not be named steps in and starts trying to cause all this drama. And who is she like get a paycheck from? Ivan Ranklin.
Yeah, she seems like she really latches on to
And they're
every.
all repeating the same shit that him, Vanderstill, Monk, Lang, all of them want to say. They're all like the this is a threat to our democracy. This is a threat to our democracy.
Yeah.
Right? And it, it shocks me sometimes how so many people in MAGA pointed all these things out when the left used them. But right, like now that the GOP doesn't, it does the same thing, and it's happening in our own community. Like they don't want to point it out. Like Trump is working in a bipartisan manner to make our country great again, whether people see it or not. He's pulled people like RFK, Tulsi Gabbard, Elon Musk into his cabinet, and he's trying to make America great again, right? And he's doing it in a bipartisan
All right,
way.
guys. I
We
just
got
want
to
to let you
have
guys know I gotta
some
go.
both. We have to have
All right.
both
Thanks for coming, Elaine.
retribution and justice, and then unity. Because let's face it, every person that registers as a Democrat in the country is not responsible for what the people on Capitol Hill do.
Yeah. Dude, how do I always have more Anon listeners in my spaces than people that are everyone? I swear, every single one. There's 17 Anon listeners. I honestly
hey,
think,
did you get my last DM?
let me check. I think
Okay.
these are the people that are in the J6 community, but they don't want to be seen in the space while telling everybody don't talk to Antifa and people that you disagree, but they want to hear it. So they show up and they don't come in the room. I'd really love for you guys to come in and share your opinion on this so we can be done with it. Because to me, it's really childish. And I know there's some of you there. So come in and grab a mic. It's just words. It's just discussion. Nobody's going to kill each other. Literally, the groups, the people that I talked to in spaces, they're like over 40 mom tifas with like 8 cats. They're not gonna kill any J6er. Like I literally have people texting me, I'm putting their lives in danger for having a conversation with another person that they're no part of and has nothing to do with them. It's just getting so old. I just want to be done with it. So please, if you're anon right now and you care about this topic, obviously you're here because you do. Just come in the room, say your part. Let's be done with it. It's ridiculous. It's really getting old. We're not going to move on to any kind of resolution with any of this unless people come in and say their part. That's the best part about having open debates, open discourse. It's the reason I started this space. I got my uncle requesting. Hey Tom, listen, I'm gonna let you up, but make sure when you get up, the bottom left, while other people are talking, just keep it muted so it doesn't give you feedback. All right, you're good. I don't know. Did Patrick have his hand up? I didn't see.
I did. I had put it down because we were changing topics. I was just gonna say, look, as far as Tarrio goes, I'm on the fence with them. I'm not saying he's a Fed. I'm not saying he isn't. I think there's a lot more to it than he's telling us. But I have a feeling that he has his reasons, right? I have to also be realistic in that these people, they have a lot to lose, particularly people like Tarrio, for saying certain things. So I always take that into account, whether I believe when he answers my questions or not. I always believe that. But at the end of the day, I feel like if we can try to find a common ground where we can at least have some open dialogue, that to me is winning versus throwing shit at each other and seeing if it sticks. Thanks.
Okay, yeah. Thank you for that. Yeah, there's a lot of I know so many different types of people in the J6 community, and we don't agree on anything. We're not supposed to. Like, we were all individuals that didn't know each other before January 6th. We shouldn't be expected to just all agree on every single topic, like always, for the rest of our lives. And that's a very simple thing. It's like you can be a Patriots fan, but I don't got to be your best friend because you're like the same team that I like. you know but there's people that either the ones that are trying to undermine the community, and we all know what James Copeland said. There's James Copeland came out and said openly he's a J6er. He was Antifa and stated that he now, because he's saying he's Antifa, is not Antifa anymore. And he warned all of us. I'll post it. He said there are over 100 Antifa members in the J6 community that were arrested and went to jail. Openly has said this. So I don't know. Maybe those are
But
the
we're not.
people telling me not to talk to them. I don't know, because they don't want
But at the
resolution.
same time, Andrew, the only confidential human source that we're supposed to talk about is Ray Epps, according to every other defendant. Well, not every other defendant. A lot of them, right, are like in here talking. According to a lot of them, the most high-profile ones, right, the only person we're supposed to point out is Ray Epps. That's it. Nobody else. The
That's
my first realization that what Landon Copeland said, right? Because I took it with a grain of salt at first. I first realized what he said was 100% accurate in one of the very first Twitter spaces I came into. I just gave my story, my eyewitness testimony of January 6th. You can read it in Epoch Times. It's titled "Kentucky Man Says Claims Ray Epps Was Worried Large Crowd Would Interfere with the Plan." That's the title of the article, right? So I'm in a space and I tell my story, and a guy comes up talking about how he had also witnessed Ray Epps working with some other people to get that sign up there, lifted up and pushed over into the cops, and he named the person he saw working directly with Ray Epps, right? And immediately somebody's mom, some J6er's mom, steps up and says, "That's who my son went with. He's a great guy. Don't be tough." And Luis Manuel was completely ostracized from the J6 community because he told the truth. So I DM'd him and gave him my phone number and started talking to the man. And it turned out the same Cody Matisse that he saw working with Ray Epps with the sign is the same person that I saw Ray Epps pull up out of the crowd, whisper something to, and then go to this 4 foot by 4 foot by concrete block structure that gave wet wall access into the building. It was the same guy. Once he named him and pointed out what he looked like, I was able to start go back and looking through footage and identify the same Cody Matisse myself. So he was telling the truth about this guy working with and interacting with Ray Epps on January 6th. But as soon as he said it, nobody wants to talk to him no more. And he's
Yeah.
like really intelligent, super intelligent guy. Uh, I love him to death. I'm glad that I took that opportunity to just DM him my phone number.
Can we,
So I
is there any
put
way that we can get him on here, Andrew?
who, James Copeland?
No, Lewis.
Lewis, you mean Tim? Wait, Lewis.
Read
Correspondent
my
X.
DM. Read my DM.
Oh, Alias.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, so let me just say something before I answer that. So did you know what happened last night when he came on?
No, I have no idea.
So apparently he is driving across country right now to come see me. And either he wants to see me, Enrique, and Roger Stone, and he's in Louisiana right now. He joined the space and he said, I'm working on my documentary or my movie or something. He said, he's asked me where I lived. It got a little creepy. And he said he wanted to get me a hotel. And he said he heard I was in my van, sleeping in my van. So he's saying that he wants to come help me. But he also said that he isn't only coming to Florida to see me, he's coming to Florida to see Enrique and Roger Stone, I think another name, right? So I let him up and he goes and goes and goes and he bombs the space, and I try to warn him. I'm like, dude, you have to learn how to have a conversation and let other people talk in between you talking. It just become this whole Alias show where he's just going to derail it. So I'll let him up. I have his page blocked, but he needs to be careful because I'll drop him down quickly. It's kind of odd that he didn't even, he said because I blocked him, he had to travel across the country to come see me. It's a little weird.
Okay, I appreciate you unblocking him just so he can, voice his opinion. Thank you so much.
Can you, did you send me his page? I forget what it is.
Yes, I'll send it now.
Okay, yeah, send me his page. I'll unblock him, but please let him know, like, he can't come in here bombing the space. He needs to stay on topic. Yeah, if he has any disagreements, he needs to listen to the other person that he's disagreeing with and have a human conversation. It can't just be him ranting and ranting. All right, let me check. So look, while I'm doing that, look up in the Jumbotron. That's the interview. It's about 1 minute 40 seconds long. This is the James Copeland that is saying there are 100 or more Antifa members that are embedded in the J6 community right now. And he says that you'll never know who they are. But, I mean, you decide on whether you believe him or not. I don't know why he would lie. He said he was Antifa. All right, I unblocked him. All right, correspondent X.
And he came in. I think it's a good point. It's Landon Copeland, and he walks into the scene while Trump is still speaking after the peace circle is breached from the other side, from like the Maryland Avenue side of
Oh,
the
his
West
name's not
Plaza.
James?
It's Landon K. Copeland.
Oh, shit. I got to
It's
fix
all right.
that.
That's all right.
Okay, Landon Copeland. I'll put that in the comments of the post. So what do you guys think? Do you guys think that the Antifa members that he's talking about, do you think that they're prominent J6ers, or do you think that they're J6ers that we never hear of?
So did your lawyer tell you, like mine told me, my fake ass public defender, to stay off of social medias, not to talk about January 6th, not to talk about your case, that was the smart legal thing to do? Because most
Yeah, he
defendants
told me
did.
that, and also he said HBO's doing a documentary. Don't respond to him; you'll make your case
Right.
worse. So
There you go. There you go. So the people that were the most vocal I mean, I didn't take my attorney's advice either, but I think we'll find most of them among the people that are most vocal. That only makes
Can you
sense.
guys take a second real quick and just everybody just share this on your page so we can get more people in here? Oh, we got Tim in. What's
Yeah,
up, Tim?
it only makes sense that they would carry out their psyop. It was long-term plan, not a short-term. They were trying to put Trump in prison. They weren't just going to use the optics of the day. They were going to use everything that took place on J6 there, CHSs in the crowd, to completely turn MAGA into ACAB, men and women's prisons, everything that we were against. They wanted the antithesis of. So they used January 6th to try to produce that with
Yeah.
their influencers.
Yeah, there is a portion of J6 that does seem like they're trying to divide the MAGA pretty much. And I wonder, like, is this who Copeland was talking about? Are the so-called Antifa members that he says in the interview that they were arrested and did jail time? And most of the time, when you ask like people like just in public that know nothing about January 6th, the human response is, "Well, did they go to jail? Yeah, all right. Well, then they're not a Fed." But I don't believe that that necessarily means just because you went
It
to
doesn't.
jail
It doesn't
that
mean
you're
it at
not.
all. Grok. Go push your Grok button and type in, "Do confidential human sources go to jail with the people they bust?" Just Grok it. Google
Oh,
it.
I believe
You
you.
don't have to
I
believe
believe you.
me. I've witnessed it as somebody who has dealt with cartels and used drugs for a long time in my life. The people that don't go to prison, like Enrique keeps getting recidivism charges, right? Keeps going back and going back. It's because he is gullible. He's not real smart, and so he keeps getting caught. Smart criminals don't keep doing that shit. I mean, it's
So I just want to update.
crazy.
Tim just entered the room. I want to give him a little update. So I'm just trying to end the thousands of messages that I'm getting from people about talking to Antifa and spaces, and I got a ton of people just telling me, don't talk to this person, that person. They hate you. You're putting our lives at risk. I don't know. I'm sick of getting the messages. It's ridiculous to me that adults can't have conversations. So that's what the space is about. But we also have there's people that disagree with each other that are within the J6 community that are here, and they're obviously brave enough to still have open discourse the same way we do with people we disagree with. So just thank you for everybody for coming and not being afraid to have a simple disagreement, because that's how you solve the problems, right? I'm gonna
And I'll
give
add on that, Andrew, before correspondent comes up. A lot of the sedition hunter type people were just normal people, right? Thinking they were doing the right thing. And a lot of them were tied to foreign intelligence and the Department of Defense and whatever, right? That'll be separated when all the confidential human source files come out. Those ones like probably Corey, who just are good at research and thought they were think and probably still think they've just been doing the right thing, trying to save the democracies, right? I think they're going to be more happy than upset than most of MAGA when the CHS files come out. And it turns out Antifa in the crowd is just a bunch of common fucking criminals and CHSs. It's not Antifa at all. And when you
yeah.
find out that a lot of these people were also starting the same drama and bullshit in BLM protests all over the country, that wasn't the organizers of the on the ground local organizers of the protest. It was national chapters coming in full of these same confidential human sources with the umbrellas and breaking windows and then keep going and let other people come by and loot, right? They go in, they start the mayhem, they provoke it, they let others follow through. They don't just do it to MAGA, they do it to both sides because it's two wings of the same bird, right?
I got Lang texting me right now. Let me see if I can get Lang in here. Um, the link. So I tagged Tim. Can you maybe try to get Jessica? I want to hear Jessica's opinion on everything. I'd really like to get everybody's opinion on the whole, you know, the topic in the headline up there. But correspondence, listen, I'm not gonna do this with you again, dude. Like you gotta converse with people. You can talk, But if you're just going to talk over people and not give them a chance to respond, if you're just going to jump in constantly, I'm going to have to drop you down. You can go ahead, but
That's cool, bro. I guess Jake Lang can just go off and do what he does, and that's fine when he does it. And I'm not gonna go into that. You know what, Andrew? Check it out. I as Eric Clark brought up, yes, I was ostracized by the entire J6 community. You did it too. And look, I'm just not going to stand by and watch a bunch of pencil neck soy boys start a race war in my country that I love. You have to understand that I have kids that I love, and I'm not just going to it's going to be really fucked up for them if these dudes do what they have planned to do since January the 6th. And so, I take this a lot more serious, Andrew, than most. Unlike everybody else, I didn't go in. I didn't need to do any of this. I was scot free because you know what? I didn't fuck up. But rather than just going off and living a good life, I knew that a lot of people had been set up. And Eric, he brought that to the forefront. I was ostracized because the information that I have specifically will fucking destroy the whole narrative. And I proved without a shadow of a doubt that the FBI was literally covering for James Malt and Cody Matisse. James Malt was allowed to reenlist in the Army Reserves at Fort Bragg as he was on their most wanted list. They knew they had him, the FBI had him on their most wanted list for months as they already had improperly cleared him, as they had improperly put him into the Army Reserves. I don't think that if anybody was really paying attention to what this signifies, I mean, that's case closed. The FBI definitely in on it. Using these guys, the reason why they had their hard hats is because they had to assemble that 17-foot by 17-foot thing right near the Capitol. The fact that that they had them on the most wanted list as they were already improperly cleared, as one of them was already at Fort Bragg. Do you understand how much bad paperwork, how much cover up needs to be done for that? I'm the guy that also called the FBI and I'm like, dude, y'all need to arrest right after Ray Epps had done the 60 Minutes. In that, they're also engaging in a cover up. Let me tell you why. Because according to the court records for Cody Matisse, James Malt, and Epps, they had predetermined that they were going to do it. The people that the people that Cody Matisse and James Malt drove with, there's like four different people that also participated, and they were never charged. It's a cover up of the hugest proportions, and that's why the J6 community had to ostracize me because they needed to have a unified front. If you get to the fact that New York unions, look, Steve Baker, and I'm going to land my plane here. Steve Baker and we talked on the phone for a couple of weeks, and he told me privately, you're absolutely right about the New York union connection. I've been working on this story for a few months, okay? Not long after me and him had that conversation, then they arrest him. And guess what he does? He scuttles his New York union uh, thing that he was working months on. He admitted on a recorded space with phenomenology. He's working on that story for months. But after the FBI went and arrested him, then he just decided to drop it and started calling me crazy for what I pointed out. This is a thing that's been done to me over and over and over again. People want to use me for my information and then later on just push me to the side. Andrew, the reason that you know about Marcus de Paola is because of me. I'm the one who brought up 1% Watchdog to you. You wouldn't even have this
that was
information, Andrew.
American
Yes,
Sims.
no, it
All right.
was not. I gave you that.
I'm
I
not
gave
going to
you that
argue with
information.
you, dude. I'm not going to
Andrew, that's fine.
argue.
I have the DMs. I already went back and
I don't
and
care about that. I don't care about
so
that.
anyways, Andrew, look, that's fine. I know that you're having a lot of fun being a space host and all of that. And I truly, when I told you that, I feel bad for you, bro. I know what it's like to sleep on the street. And you're the type of person, I'm gonna land my plane here, but you really are like, it's sad, bro. You're the type of person that people help you, and then you turn around and you stab them in the back. That shit you did with Gina, you took her money, and then you try to make her out like the bad guy. Dude, this is why J6
Well, this
is
dude's about to get
toxic to everybody else.
You really don't know what you're talking about. So I'm gonna
I
drop you
think,
down.
it's pretty accurate though. I mean, it's okay to be wrong and admit your faults, Andrew. I think that's where a lot of us mess up, right? It's okay to be wrong and admit your faults.
So
Okay,
what do
you
you guys
borrowed
think
the
I'm wrong
money,
about?
you couldn't afford to pay it back, and she was a real bitch about it. I get that. I get that. And so you were bothered by the fact that you thought she was trying to help you, and now she's insisting on money back that she knows you don't have and putting you out on the street. I think it's fucked up what she did to you, but that doesn't mean that Luis doesn't have a really good point.
Well, I'm not going to sit here and let him speak on something he doesn't know about. So there's an entire space on the Gina thing. If you guys, I don't want to bomb this space, but we can talk about it if you guys want to talk about it. This space is generally about meeting with Antifa and having spaces with them. But I've posted all, if anybody wants to go to my page, there's full text messages about the situation. The story with Gina is entirely too long, and it's going to completely change the space. But I'll be happy to do another space about that if you guys want to. I just really don't want this. This is a separate space than that. I'm not saying I'm not dodging questions. I'm not saying that there aren't some truths to what he's saying, but there's a lot of half truth, and those are the most dangerous lies. So um, I'm not going to sit here and talk unless Gina wants to come in here. I'll talk to Gina straight to her.
Yeah,
And
and just her
I get,
sending
I,
someone to
I
your house to threaten you is just beyond what anyone should ever do to another person. We J6ers had people come to our homes, and but it's just wrong what she did. So I'm sorry about that.
besides,
100 is
I
wrong
think
with what she
honestly,
did,
I
and
do
I would
truly
prefer
think
you
that she's
talk to
one of those
Antifa.
narcissists.
Look, Andrew. I have no problem with talking to the left, right? Because they're not all really Antifa. The left, I have no problem talking to people that disagree with me politically, but I would never go out of my way after those few spaces we had with American Summer and Gina and Chadwick and all those people,
Yeah.
right? Like, it bothers me more. It bothered me more because I've kind of set it aside now that you went and, like, not just became social media, but real life friends with all these people, right? Like, got yourself caught up in the mix with these same people that we were calling out, which I get it, right?
Yeah.
You probably learned a lot that I'm going to be happy you learned at some point, right? So I really am setting it aside, but it's back on the
There,
topic of this space. I'd rather
there's
you talk to the left than the people on the right that are just psyoping and playing games
listen, Eric.
in a friendly type
There's
way.
things about this situation. Um, I'll share with you privately that are going to be coming out pretty soon. But there, I don't do things just to do things. I I started talking to Gina for specific reasons, and I don't know if you can draw a conclusion to what I'm talking about. But years ago, the whole Gina issue that American Summer and Marty started following about her doing hand signals to Andrew Morgan. It's going to come out soon. I don't have a laptop right now, but I'm working on something so you guys can actually see um, why I was, in that little circle for a bit. But I think you'll understand at that point. I mean, she's said that she was waving at DJ when clearly you can see that she's doing a hand signal telling Andrew Morgan to come closer. This is the guy that recorded us go through the window and turned all of the warrants that were signed from everybody that went through that window came from Andrew Morgan's footage. Andrew Morgan will not, I have his number, he won't come onto spaces. Um, he had a bullhorn with a LGBT flag on the side of it. This guy has a rumble that is named Hunting Insurrectionist. He's not MAGA. And Gina's signaling this guy to get into his position. He says right on video, "I need to get back to my spot." So I'm not saying I know exactly what went down. I'm getting close, but I wouldn't be surprised if the way Gina acts when his name comes up, "Who's Andrew Morgan?" She says it over and over. And if you really listen to people when they answer questions, they tell you when they're full of shit. So I think there's something between Gina and Morgan. I think that Gina possibly went there to undermine MAGA and the Patriots. I do think that she's not MAGA. I don't think she's one of us. I think she might be one of the 100 that Copeland is talking about. And I've said that to her. I've said it to everybody that knows her. I'll say it to her if she wants to come in here. I have videos that if I sit down, I'm going to put it together in a presentation for you guys, and you decide for yourself. You know, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I was the day one from in that room. You know, it's called the Sting Room because that's what I called it with American Summer. He started researching around the West Terrace. Me, you, and him. Lewis, Dova. You guys all know. Who was the first one to call all this stuff out? I was calling out everybody in that room. Actually, you know what? I want to get. Eventually, I'm going to have a meetup with Cash because he did time with Ryan Nichols, and you know I was calling him out for years. But as I said back then, and I'll say now, if I'm wrong about somebody, I'll apologize about it later, because the truth of J6 is more important, me included. I'm being called an actor. So if somebody says something about me and they think that's, going to get them to the truth of the day, do it. Fine, do it. I hope people research it more. More footage is out since the pardons, and I think it's a good thing. It's a healthy thing. But I think we need to figure out these 100 people Copeland is talking about that are actual J6ers now in our community, probably the ones dividing it. Honestly, I have second thoughts about Lewis. Honestly, I don't know. This guy's driving across the country to see me. That's not creepy at all. That's a little weird. That's a little unstable and unhealthy. So we got to be careful who we listen to when they say things. Yes, I had an experience and I talked and researched, and Lewis was part of some of that, but not everything he says is accurate. Um, it's I really feel like he just doesn't have many friends, and he found a community, and then it kind of turned on him, and it's making him have some sort of meltdown. But that's just my personal opinion. I'm really not here to attack him. He's welcome to come up. He can say anything he wants about me. I'm happy to answer any questions about the Gina thing. I just don't want to turn it into an Andrew versus Gina issue. The issue that I really want to get past is not the whole J6 community, but a portion of it. They're telling us certain ones of us that we can't talk to the other side. We can't try to resolve any issues. And that was the purpose of the space. I'm trying to get Right Aviation in here. Apparently he's afraid to talk to everybody, including his own side. But I woke up and I got another 10, 20 messages from people saying, don't join this guy's spaces. He's a federal informant, blah, blah. I don't know. It's just craziness. So I do I want to get J6ers or I want to get their opinion on the whole topic. I want to get the advocates that want to come in and give their take on everything. I don't want the whole community to be fooled into hating each other. And it's happening now. It's 100% happening now. And it's probably the 100 that Copeland is talking about that are somehow, who knows who it is. But why would this guy say that there's Antifa within the J6 community if there wasn't? What's his motive to lie? Right. And people see it and they go, oh, he's full of
Well,
shit. He's just trying to.
it's a half truth. It's one of them half truths, Andrew. It's one of them half truths. He was
Yeah.
there with 250 people that were not there to protest the election, that were not sent by the Lord, that were not there to see Trump speak. Whatever our reasons for coming were, the 250 he went with, 100 of which were arrested along with the January 6th defendants, were confidential human sources. And that's why he says Antifa, because they had already been trying to spread this Antifa in the crowd. You had Proud Boys dressed up like Antifa, saying Joe Big saying he was going to go dressed up like Antifa. Brian Gamble from the whole Flynn thing dressed up
Yeah.
like Antifa. They wanted to make it look like Antifa in the crowd, so the investigation efforts after the fact were flawed from the start.
Oh, Corey's got his hand up. Go ahead, Corey.
No, I was just gonna ask, who are some of these people that keep telling you this?
I don't want to. I'm not going to put their names out. The ones that you can, if you go through my Twitter, some of them have said it publicly. I'm not going to share their private DMs and messages, but you can see some of the ones that um, have been ever since the Lang kind of in the interview that AP just put out. He asked me to take it down for him, so I did him a favor and took it down. I didn't want anybody to, I've had drunk spaces where I look like a complete idiot, and I wanted
We
to take
clipped it.
it
We
down.
already recorded and clipped it though, so it's all good.
No, whatever. All I'm saying is it happened after that. I've been doing spaces with people that Sedition Hunter side, and everybody remembers it that's here. Well, most of you, and it was never an issue, never a problem. Because I believe that that's how you resolve something. You talk to the people you disagree with. And anybody telling you not to talk to the people you disagree with, I believe might be the 100 we're talking about because they don't want resolution. They don't want people to get along. They need us to hate each other in order for the machine to keep moving. That's honestly how I feel about it.
Yeah, the DMs were crazy after that space that Lang went off, but I didn't even talk until later on. I think they were on for the first 2 hours, and then for like 2.5 hours, we talked about it. But even my husband got DMs, like hate DMs, just because Rachel had mentioned my husband. So, and these are coming from people that are supposed to be like J6ers and J6 supporters. So it was crazy after that.
Yeah, but don't you feel like there's a group of the community that is they really don't want people to get along. They just it to me that shows a hand that shows their hand a little bit, and I guarantee you that it's the 16 listening um that won't come in here. They're saying don't talk to these people, but they listen in. What are you here listening for? If you're telling us not to talk to these people, why are you even here? Why are you even listening to it? You don't have to come listen. Nobody's forcing you to come listen. Nobody's talking about you guys. You're not going to tell other adults who to talk to. That's just not going to happen. Like, did you really think the people that had the balls to go to the Capitol would just conform to like group orders? That's like a communist group thing. Like, why would we conform to what the group is saying? I'm not saying be an asshole and don't be part of the group. Like you should exist in some sort of group of support. And I appreciate everybody that has supported every J6er, but you can't tell an adult who to talk to. And if you are, it kind of makes me look at you like maybe you don't want resolution. Maybe that's why you're telling people not to talk to each other. Go ahead, Eric.
No, I just wanted to say that's a really good little rant you had there, Andrew. I agree with that. I agree with that so much. I want to stick around your space and hear if some of these people come in and actually speak. But I got to go back to work. I love
All right.
you, and this is my formal official apology for assuming you were one of them crisis actors when you went to go live in a house with all of them. Um, you're right. I'm starting to see a little bit more what you're up to and what it's costing you, Andrew. You were a big part of helping us get a lot of information in our little group early on. I think you need to maybe tone it down with Luis and realize he's your friend too.
No, I got love for him, man. I
But
do. I do.
he's gonna have to come around the same way I did, right? I mean, the appearance that you gave, and I realize that you probably knew it was the appearance when you went into it. Told
Yeah.
some of the people that you were really working with that, man, Andrew let us down. You know what I
Oh, yeah.
mean? And
And I was the first
dude,
one to say that
like
to
you
you.
said, I'll be with one of the first to apologize when this is all over to plenty of people. But you, I think, deserve that right now.
Thank you, Eric. I really appreciate that. That really means a lot to me, man. Love you,
I'm
dude.
out. I gotta go back to work.
All right, bud. Um, go ahead, Tish.